live.
We are live. Hey, everybody. All right. We're exciting news, everybody. We got a new thing for you. We have a theme song for Crossing the Streams. That's right. We have a theme song, and Bob is gonna sing it in 3, 2, 1.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really, just between you and me. They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff and Ron and Sal and Bob. And there's Howard. They called it Crossing Streams. And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we cross the streams. We cross the streams. We cross the streams. That's the way we do it here. We cross the streams.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Bob.
Fantastic.
Standing ovation.
My singing debut.
Call to stand up.
No
Standing ovation.
Yeah.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Here's the amazing thing.
Oh, you're quite worthy.
For those just tuning in to Crossing the Stream, here's the amazing thing. You're not going to believe this, but those lyrics were written today, practiced only once, and he nailed it. He nailed it.
Yeah.
Like
First take.
Very well done.
First take.
Yeah, just call me one take.
Gonna be writing jingles for a living.
Just like, and just like the magical lyrics in the Brady Bunch that fully explains the story of the Brady Bunch. Those lyrics fully explained our show. We're a bunch of guys. We have over 200 hours of TV watching experience, and we didn't even think we had enough experience. We didn't think we had enough experience, and we brought in a guest. Liz Priestley. Oh my God, you're about to like.
Hey, Liz is here.
Liz Priestley, star of Concrete Cowboy with Idris Elba.
What?
Yeah, exactly. She played his wife. Liz, say hi to everybody. Say hi, Liz.
Hi, everybody.
Liz, if you get a chance to
Liz.
connect with him again, if you could ask Idris about Ron's favorite movie, Zootopia, which he voiced. That's in Ron's top 5 favorite films.
That is, I'm not going to deny the fact that is in my short list of favorite films. I'm sorry to say.
He's Liz and I talk all about Idris.
To each his own, Ron.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you.
Literally to each, to him, just him.
just me. Just my own. It's all Zootopia love. It's all here.
Liz, when does the movie come out on Netflix? Liz is just so laughing so hard. And
I still don't have. I still don't have a release date. Oh, there's a little delay on my end. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, I don't have a release date yet. All I know is like early 2021. So that could be like a couple weeks from now or like 2 or 3 months from now. I have no idea.
Cool.
2021 is in a couple weeks from now because it was just March 3 days ago. And time has flown. Time has gone by so quick. So anyways, welcome everybody. Instead of that 30-second countdown, we did a theme song. That's right. We're breaking barriers. We're crossing streams. Doing crazy stuff. And Liz is our first guest ever.
Nice.
This is our 300th show. We have not had a guest yet. And here we have Liz as the very first guest. You can put that on your IMDb.
Wow.
First guest of Crossing the Streams.
Does this mean we've jumped the shark?
Now that happens when someone brings a baby to the screen.
So Crossing the Streams is a bunch of folks.
I'm so honored.
Yeah, I know, and you know all about the show, right? So because you've watched all 300 episodes, we're in 500 countries, 72 states. It's pretty widespread. It's pretty interesting, and then and so what we have that we all do is we talk about Liz as a fan, Mick Manhattan. Mick is from Chile.
Nice.
Chile.
Welcome, Mick.
Oh, hi.
How you doing, Mick?
Yeah, a big fan. So we talk about shows that we love streaming, and Liz is going to share one of her shows too. But first is the little section we call Clever Banter.
So is this where I jump in, Jeff? Let me just jump in here. I was thinking about this because, hey, we're all approaching the holidays. We're all kind of winding up with, kind of figuring out how we're going to end the year. And I was thinking about the stuff that we're going to be doing with my family heading up to Hanukkah and Christmas. And it occurred to me that we do some pretty weird crap at our house. We do some pretty unusual stuff. And I just was curious of the group's weird holiday traditions. And curious what you guys do that's a little out there. Roz, do you mind going first?
Well, I mean, aside from catering from chain restaurants, as I did my Thanksgiving, as we all know from Cracker Barrel, and by the way, the folks from Cracker Barrel, despite repeated efforts, have not connected with us about me starring in a motion picture. So
Bastards.
So
See,
Christmas,
you can see Howard in a Cracker Barrel Christmas starring Howard Ross.
on
missed
Netflix
opportunity.
too, which is a little known subset of Netflix. So we won't be catering from Cracker Barrel clearly for Christmas. I'm thinking Bob Evans. Bob Evans has a nice catering package, a good Ohio company. Just Columbus. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Bob Evans. Our tradition, which obviously isn't happening this year, has been, I've mentioned last week that I look forward to going to Vegas. The other place that my wife and I love going is New York. So we have gone to New York. Last year, we actually went to Vegas, spent a weekend in Vegas, and then flew directly from Vegas, bypassing Michigan to New York to go to Rockefeller Center and see the tree and everything. And we just love walking Manhattan this time of year. So obviously none of that is happening. So it's just going to be some ham from Bob Evans and just enjoying Christmas at home.
Nice.
Real quick, I would like to point out that also who did not respond last week was the Mondelez Global Corporation maker of Sour Patch Kids. So this week, I am going a different route. I'll be eating Laffy Taffy and Spree from the Ferrara Corporation, also a superior candy maker. Again, Ferrara, maker of Laffy Taffy, Spree, and Sweet Tarts.
Hang
What
on.
about you, Bob? Any good traditions?
I gotta say, I was thinking about any weird. There's a lot of weird traditions, but they're too weird to talk about. I want to share a story with you, though, if that's okay. Short story, a Christmas story. I grew up in a very large family, 8 kids, and this was, this was either the late '60s or very early '70s. I think I was 9 or 10. And at the time, there's 10 people living in a 2,000 square foot house, and there wasn't a lot of money to go around. My father would later go on to make some money, but at that point we were broke. And I remember my mother coming to me and saying to me, and my mother was from Newfoundland, and if you know anything about Newfoundland, they have this sort of Irish lilt to the way they speak. It's not Canadian. It's not Irish. It's a little bit like this. And she says, Bobby, I got to tell you, Santa doesn't have a lot of money this year, so you got to pick one thing, just one thing. And I said, okay, how about walkie-talkies? And she says, that's 2 things. You either want the walkie or the talkie. I'm like, Mom, you're doing a bit on me now. So, that was my Christmas
awesome.
I like it.
She went from Irish to Chinese, kind of in the middle of that.
I don't know what it was. Look, I sang 4 verses of our theme song early.
Yeah,
True.
Sal, what about you?
Can I give you guys a little bit of like an Italian culture? Like I don't follow this, but I just kind of our watchers here, our listeners, and you guys. The Italian tradition is on December 8th is when you put up your Christmas decorations, okay? And they do that in Italy because that's the supposedly the night of the Immaculate Conception. So I don't know why we put up Christmas lights that day, but we do. And then you take them down on January 6th, because that is supposedly the day that the 3 wise men gave their gifts to baby Jesus. So there you have it.
Nice.
So now you guys
Nice.
know when Italians put up their decorations.
That's
realize
and
thank
take
you
them
for that. Can I
No
throw in
problem.
something here?
No
By
problem.
the way, the 3 wise men, it's Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar, right? Those are the names. That sounds like a New Jersey mesothelioma law firm, doesn't it?
Liz, what about you, Liz?
Liz laughs so hard she freezes the entire
Gosh.
system.
I know. I'm so sorry. The delay is so ridiculous. Really, I mean, the only thing we really do every year, I think of Christmas Eve. And I don't know. I'm just seeing the scrolling underneath the box, and it just says she plays Idris Elba's wife, and I think that's so funny. Anyway, yeah, we on Christmas Eve we all get together. I also come from a kind of a large family. I have 5 sisters, and we all have kids and everything, and we all get together at my house, and we watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but we watch it like Rocky Horror style, because it has gotten to the point now where we've seen it so much that we can all just kind of quote along. So a couple of years ago, I got everyone in my family, we all got T-shirt, and they all had different lines from the movie on them. Now it's like a thing, so you wear the T-shirt, and if it's your line, you got to jump line with the movie, and it's a whole thing. And this is like the first year I've gotten my boyfriend involved, because we've been together 2 years. So this is his first time. Yeah, he's just like, it's so great. He's just like deer in headlights every time I bring it up. But I'm like, this is your year. I've got your T-shirt. Like, get ready.
That's
What's
a
your
great
line?
tradition.
What's your line, Liz?
My T-shirt is the one that says, "Can I refill your eggnog? No, wait, can I get you anything to eat? Refill your eggnog, take you in the middle of nowhere, and leave you for dead."
It's one of the best lines.
That's a good line.
Nice.
I actually was gonna order just yesterday. I saw T-shirts for my wife and I to wear, and they were the matching ones. Why's the carpet wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot T-shirts, and but they weren't gonna arrive in time, so I opted against it. But yeah, that's. I mean, I would say not just during the holidays, but all year round. I use the use Sirius Clark to my wife all the time. That's
It's a classic.
That is
It's
a
a great
classic.
movie.
Yes. Classic line.
I wouldn't want to participate
I-
unless I have shitters full on my sweatshirt.
Yeah, so our big one year round is The Blessing.
That's an excellent one. It's an amazing movie. It's amazing that the first vacation movie, streaming wise, if you watch the whole series, first one's incredible. The second one's just atrocious.
Terrible.
And then they came back with the third one and just killed
Third
it.
one's become the classic.
Yeah.
Hang on. The second one is one of the best lines in the series, though. Look, kids, Big Ben.
Parliament.
That's true. That's true.
Which, yeah, we did when we were in London, no question. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
You have to do that now in London. You
Yeah.
actually hear other people doing it in London.
you do.
I'll just jump in and say our big tradition is on Christmas Eve we actually go to Ethiopian food, and so we take the kids to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we get puddles of cat vomit, as my 12-year-old likes to say, and that's what we do, and we enjoy it. We look forward to it every year, and we're not going to be able to do it this year, but we may actually carry it out, so we'll see.
Of
Ethiopian
course,
food.
as they call it in Ethiopia, food.
Yeah. So what is that? What does that look like? Is like generic boxes of water and UN donated rice. I know that sounds shitty.
Yeah, it does come in boxes that say U.S. government on it. So you're no, it's a great tradition. But dude, it's out there. What about you, Jeff?
Oh, it's a good. Hang on a second. My wife's running the Kroger. Yes, get the frosted mini wheats. Yes. Of course, the ones with 10 layers of wheat, 6 grams of fiber. I only need one bowl, and it ties me over to the next meal. Whatever one is there. Oh, sorry.
I think we lost Liz.
We lost Liz.
We were too much for her.
Too much. She'll come back.
Yeah.
There are too many streams we're crossing. Sal talked about Italy, so I'll talk about Jewish. One of the Jewish traditions that most people do is on Christmas, all the Jews eat Chinese food. And the reason for that is it's because it's the only thing that's open, because they're the other folks that don't celebrate Christmas. And then it's not like as easy as just getting Chinese food, though. You have to be really strategic about it, because every Jew is ordering Chinese food. And so like that'll be 45 minutes, you go in there and you're like, how long you been here? I'm like, I've been here 4 hours. And it's like, it becomes a very contentious situation. It's not there's no Jews that enjoy Christmas that are eating Chinese food. It's like, you have to, unless you ordered it like at 3 p.m. or something like that. And then that'll do that. But other than that, it's like,
Liz is back.
Oh, Liz is back. Let's get Liz back in here.
Nice.
Oh, look
She's
who's
back.
back. She couldn't stay away. Welcome to episode. Are you back, Liz?
She's back.
She's not sure.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I have the worst internet.
That's all right.
She's like, do you remember the Al Franken?
And I'm sitting right across from the router.
No, this is good for broadcast television. Now we get to just kind of take shots at you while you're in and out.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Al Franken self-contained one-man mobile uplink?
Oh, that was so good.
Oh man.
I've forgotten Al Franken sketch.
So let's get into why everyone tunes in. I mean, we are hilarious, but let's for everyone who missed episode 2, we talked about The Haunting of Hill House, The King of Kong, which you can get for free on YouTube, Star Trek Discovery, and The Boys. So if you want to hear all about those, go check out episode 2. For those of you who want a sneak peek, for this episode, we're going to talk about Never Have I Ever, the platform, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, and Class Action Park. So this is going to be a jam-packed, amazing episode. And we're going to start with Ron and Class Action Park.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Thanks, Jeff. So I'm going a different direction with for this week's stream review. This is actually not a stream. It's actually a single documentary featured on HBO Max. For those of you that get HBO, it's in the new platform HBO Max. This is an amazing 90 minutes of television. I'll just ask the group, how many of you guys like theme parks, adventure parks, water parks, these types of things? Yeah,
Liz will in a minute.
Liz will, right? Liz will in a second. So I had never heard of Action Park. Action Park is a park that was developed in the 70s and 80s, outside, about 45 minutes outside of New York City in New Jersey. And the thing about this park, and the reason for the documentary was it was built by a guy named Gene Mulvihill, who was a disgraced hedge fund guy who was actually kicked off Wall Street and sued 100 times and took all his money that he stole selling penny stocks and went to New Jersey and built this I think it was 60-acre park in the middle of New Jersey called Class Action Park. And it's a theme park, it's a water park, it's an adventure park. And the thing about what he built, what Gene Mulvihill built, there were no rules attached to the park. And so you've got all these crazy rides that were developed not by engineers, not by people that were associated with any kind of reasonable, auditable group, but rather like friends of his. Like people like devised like the craziest fucking things you can think of. And he was like, that sounds good. And he actually built it. And word started to spread in New York, and all these hard-hitting New Jersey, New York kids, while all the better-to-do, well-to-do kids in New York were going to Florida and Nantucket and these places, all the middle-class kids were going to Action Park to go hit this place and ride these crazy freaking rides that had no rules. And what it turned out to be, Gene Mulvihill was never there. He just owned the place and built it. It was run by teenagers. Like the whole freaking place was run by teenagers. So like these crazy rides. Now, in the span of 2 years, 6 people died at this park. And hundreds of people were injured at this park because none of the rides had any kind of safety standards on it. Jimmy Kimmel was talking about it just a couple of years ago about he grew up going to Action Park, but they used to call it Traction Park, right at the time. And now they call it Class Action Park because of all the lawsuits that came out of this. One of the most famous rides that Gene Mulvihill just thought up one day was something called the Cannonball Loop. And it is like a tube that you throw yourself down 70 feet almost straight down into a section at the very bottom that does a full 360-degree loop that then shoots you out into a pool. But no one bothered to like do the engineering of like, well, what happens if you slow down at the top and you fall, or what happens if it kicks you out to the back? And people were missing teeth. People were having fractured jaws. People were and this was like one of the incredible pieces of Action Park. And so the story goes on to talk about how finally the state started like investigating these guys. Like you can't just open up a freaking park with no rules. People are getting hurt. People are dying. You got to have insurance. Where's your insurance? And he's like, well, here's our insurance. We're insured through the Cayman Islands, and showed them the insurance. He friggin' made up the insurance. He made up the company in Nassau, I think it was, or Cayman Islands rather, to create the insurance policy, which allowed Action Park to even happen. Anyway, It is 90 minutes of people that lived their childhood through Action Park, taking you through what it was like growing up, going through Action Park. And I got to tell you, it's not a series. It's a 1-episode thing, but you have got to watch this and go through the process of being in these guys and gals' minds, of just being part of something that had no rules, utter mayhem, all sex and alcohol and danger, all thrown together into one scrambled egg kind of place somewhere in the middle of New Jersey.
Sounds like my house in the 80s.
Hey-o. So how long was this place open, Ron?
So it was open in the 70s, and then they built onto it in the early 80s to make it where people are really talking about how crazy it was. It was in the early 80s, and then it got shut down and opened up again, and it got shut down and opened up again, and then finally Gene Mulvihill had to end up selling it, and it still exists, although in a greatly reduced version. I forget what it's called now, but it's not now. It's monitored, but
I don't think so. I think they're back. They're at the Livonia Spree here in Michigan every year. That Himalaya breaks down every year.
It's touring under the name of St. Mary's Fair.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Well, check it out.
Sounds like somebody had like one of those games, like amusement park tycoon, like The Sims, and just created it but brought it to life.
It's like what happens when a kid in the form of an adult like Gene Mulvihill has all the money in the world and just dreams up crazy shit. I have to interrupt for a second.
Casey Ryan Plott has been convinced. We have convinced.
That's good.
Ryan, so
Yeah,
we're good.
I'm going to watch it too. I never saw that one.
Casey's back, so we know that it gets 2 thumbs up. from
Awesome.
Casey.
Thank you, Casey
All right.
Ryan Plott.
2 fractured thumbs up. She was a visitor to Action Park in the 80s.
So that's
Awesome.
good. For some reason, I think there's some on Hulu. A William Shatner does a. It's like In Search Of, but for spooky stuff, haunted things. And for some reason, I think one of them is Class Action Park because they were talking about this park where all these kids died and stuff like that, and it's haunted and stuff like that. It sounds like every park what I think every park really is. You can't convince me. Kids don't fly out.
People die. I get it, but this is something else. This is like every they take you through the rides that made it famous, and every one of them is like worse than the next one. You're like, how is this even?
How did that
possible?
pass inspection and all that?
No,
unreal.
Anyway,
All right. Well, that is an excellent one, and we're gonna check it out.
HBO's documentaries, just in general, are amazing. They rarely miss.
Agreed. And
Ron and I just on a side note still talk about the one with what's her name from Theranos, that documentary.
Oh, yes.
How she sounds like Kermit.
Yes, and it wasn't even her real voice. It was all a made up voice.
I just started watching one about Heaven's Gate. That was the one where they all wore the tennis shoes. We'll talk about it on a future episode though. Because it's so unrealistic that people would fall into a cult these days. All right, let's go into another show. The next show. Wait. I'm sorry. Let me turn this off. All right. So the next show is Cobra Kai. I'm excited that we're talking about this one. Sal's gonna talk to us about Cobra Kai and take us through it.
Well, before I do that, Jeff, this is an exclusive Crossing Streams here. I got a sneak peek at Mission Impossible 7 with Tom Cruise. It's going to be great. It's literally just Tom Cruise screaming and yelling at unpaid actors trying to eat bagels in their cafeteria while having masks on.
Nice.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and he's got guest stars to come in and scream at these guys. He's got Gary Busey comes in and screams for a while.
Christian Bale for sure.
Christian Bale comes in there. Even Gilbert Godfrey comes in and starts screaming.
What was the character for Len Grossman from Tropic Thunder? Did you go?
Tom Cruise did so much screaming in this movie that he has been lowered down to Leah Remini status on the Church of Scientology. That is thank you. That's gold right there, Jerry. That's gold. All right. I watched Cobra Kai, and it was awesome. I loved it. It's based off of the movie Karate Kid, if you guys remember that, the famous martial arts movie from 1984, June 22nd. 1984 is when that movie was released, when the Detroit Tigers won the World Series. Bob Phillips, do you remember that, buddy?
I remember.
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
I wasn't even alive yet.
No, I'm talking about Karate Kid. I'm sorry. Karate Kid, the movie that Cobra Kai is based off of, came out in 1984. I apologize.
Wait, so there's a movie called Karate Kid?
I got it anyway.
Yeah, there's a movie called Karate Kid. And that stars
It came
Ralph
out
Macchio.
a month before I was born.
There you go, Liz. See?
Oh, you
Holy
just shut
cow.
up, Liz.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I have underwear
really
your
old.
age.
But I'm glad Liz brought that up because this show resonates with people of our age, besides Liz here, and it also resonates with the younger generation because what they did was, so they took the basis of the movie Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio, and William Zabka. I think I'm saying it right. He's got that name like Brett Favre. You don't know which letter. But anyway, these two guys obviously made that movie famous by their ending scene where Ralph Macchio wins. And now the Netflix series takes place in today's age, and Ralph Macchio is a successful car salesman, and William lives in the same town, and they're still competing. They're still kind of competing. They open up wrestling dojo or karate dojos, and just all the craziness ensues, and then their kids are involved. There's kind of like a younger generation storyline that's really, really good, really, really funny. I want to give a shout out, and he's Italian, Gianni DeCenzo. Gianni DeCenzo, I know you're watching this. He does a really good job playing the part of Dimitri, who's kind of one of these nerdy kids that's taking one of the dojos. I don't want to give it away, but he does a really good job. Good job. And it's really just a really fun, it's short episodes, 24 to 36 minutes. There's 2 seasons that you can stream right now on Netflix. The 3rd season comes out January 8th. They've already slotted for a 4th season. This is how successful this has been. It's a really fun watch. I mean, like I said, I don't want to give it away, but it's got a lot of old music in there, like REO Speedwagon and stuff like that from when the movie came out. And then it's got updated music as well. I love the parts of the kind of the teenagers and stuff. It's kind of got that Sandlot feel to it. It's got some great writing, great lines. I want to say something about William Zabka. I don't know this guy's kind of what he's done other than Karate Kid, I'll be honest with you. But he's got one of those faces that he just always looks like he's like guilty of something no matter what he's talking. Yeah, back to school. There you go. That's
why he hasn't done. That's why he hasn't really done a whole lot, because basically that movie kind of pigeonholed him, and he couldn't break out of the villain box, so he hasn't really done much of anything.
Sure.
Other than
Bradley Cooper broke out, though. He started out as a jerk, and he became a lovely leading man. I do want to say one thing. I just want to put a little cred out there.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that's me and the Karate Kid guys.
That's awesome.
Sal, I think that Ralph Macchio, who produced Cobra Kai, he does a nice job of actually rebuilding the character from William Zabka, and he does become a sympathetic guy, and I think he does a nice job. He's a talented actor.
He does a great job. You're exactly right. He has some deadpan deliveries in this thing that's just hysterical. It's one of the ones where I've gone back and watched. I've rewatched episodes to catch his lines and stuff, because you just kind of miss some of the little quirky things that he does while they're doing the dojo and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know this, but just kind of going backwards. But Karate Kid was directed by John Avildsen, and the music in that movie was done by Bill Conti, which those 2 guys, Bob did our favorite movie from, you listen to the Sal and Bob Show. Yeah. We love Rocky, and those 2 guys did Rocky. That's so right. There's a connection with Rocky and the Karate Kid, and then obviously with Cobra Kai. But I give this 5 tomato sauce jars. All right, with some garlic in there. This is a big hit. I think everybody should watch it if you're 50 or if you're 20. And you know what? This is an interesting concept. Maybe they should do this with other movies, I mean, just take a look. Maybe you can do like, let me see. I had a couple of them written down here. You can do a Vision Quest. Maybe Vision Quest. Get Matthew Modine to come out. Maybe, a couple of wrestling programs going after each other. Maybe you can do Nacho Libre. That was a wrestling movie. Or hell with it. I just mentioned Rocky. I know there's been 100 Rockies, but maybe you do a Rockies Netflix series where Rocky's grandkids are open up a gym across the street from Clubber Lang's kids, and they open up a boxing gym, and a Netflix series is developed. There you go.
You know that Clubber Lang's gym is going to be called Pity the Fool. Those would be some great ideas. So
I remember when it originally came out on YouTube Red, and you had to pay, but they gave you the first episode or 2 for free. I remember watching it way back and thinking, "Oh, this is great," but I didn't want to pay for another streaming service because it wasn't the thing to do back then. Now you do it. But when it came out on Netflix, I mean, it just kind of shows you the power of Netflix. I mean, it came out on Netflix, it became like the number one thing the next day.
That's right.
And like most of the times, what people ask is like, "Hey, is this cheesy? Is this weird?" And it's like it's not. They did it so well that it's incredible how good they did it. And you actually start to not like Ralph Macchio's character. At least I didn't. You start to like think like, oh, when they look at it from his point of view, Johnny's point of view, and all the footage in there isn't the movie footage. They had to go in and find alternate takes and angles and scenes to recreate those things. So it's when you kind of look at it from Johnny's point of view, Ralph Macchio comes off as kind of a dick, and it's like
you're right,
and
you're right.
you know, and so it's like it's a whole different perspective on the show.
And really I forgot to mention they did a really nice, just a lot of just nice touches in there for Pat Morita, just because he was obviously part of the original, and they bring him back in there, so it's really cool to do that. So
all right, well, good news, Sal. Casey Ryan Plott dug your rundown. He says the show is groovy. Convinced.
Casey Ryan Plott, thank you, man.
I think we need a Casey Ryan Plott is convinced graphic.
Yeah, we'll get that. I'm gonna work on a Sal tomato sauce ranking.
5 tomato king.
I'm mad at myself because I thought I had one. Says Daniel starts the first fight. And then I also did a lot of reading, and it's like the kick he did actually was very illegal. And technically, I think, though the timelines are a little confusing, but he was actually too old to even be in that tournament. And Mr. Miyagi kind of like illegally entered him in that tournament. He lied to get him in that tournament.
Yeah,
so he shouldn't have even been there. So Johnny should have won.
He stole the belt.
He stole the belt. Yeah. And
Yep.
didn't they bring up in the show, Sal, that the kick was illegal?
The kick was illegal, and then I forgot, and that's another good point. You should watch the movie before you watch the series, because I forgot that he actually goes to Cobra Kai before he goes to Pat Morita's. You know what I mean? So he was a member of Cobra Kai first. So I forgot about that. You know.
All right, that was excellent.
Good show. Awesome. Good show. Though.
Good
Very
review.
good show.
All right, you ready? You ready, Liz? You think you got enough juice? Liz is going to talk about Stranger Things.
I'll try my best.
Tell everyone about your connection to Stranger Things.
I'll try my best with the delay. Well, yeah, I guess that's the place to start. I have a personal connection with Stranger Things because one of the young actors on that show who plays Luke Sinclair is played by the wonderful and talented Caleb McLaughlin, who actually plays my son in the upcoming Concrete Cowboy.
Wow.
So I know him pretty well, and it was really awesome. Yeah, he's amazing. But I was so dumb because when I got cast for this movie, I hadn't seen Stranger Things yet. And so I did a binge before I showed up on, and I made it through like the first 1.5 seasons. So I showed up on set thinking that 11, maybe 12-year-old Caleb McLaughlin would be playing my son. And I'm there and I'm in costume and they're putting everything on me. And I turn the corner and there's 17-year-old Caleb McLaughlin, who is taller than me in 4-inch heels, by the way. And he just comes barreling at me like, whoa! I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that was fun. But
did you have a little
actually,
Mrs. Robinson
you know,
moment
and
there?
before I get into why, no. Well, because I mean, come on, it's Caleb at 17, but then you've got Idris Elba shirtless on a horse.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere else to
Obviously,
look.
yeah.
Like, there's nowhere else to look. But I would say Caleb and I got to bond a little bit because it's you, and it's Caleb's feature film debut as well, even though he has all these seasons of Stranger Things under his belt, and he actually comes from a background, and I am a musical theater I'm musically theater trained, and I come from that world as well. So we got to bond a little bit on that. And then the fact that we're both making our movie debuts. So it's pretty exciting. Wonderful. I can't say enough wonderful things about him, but yeah, but Stranger Things, if you haven't seen it, it's a show that is set in the, it's a fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, and it's set during the 80s. And when I describe this to friends and try to tell them why I think they should watch the show, I say to them, I'm like, if you loved The Goonies and E.T. and Spielberg or John Carpenter or Stephen King, you need to watch Stranger Things, because it takes the best elements of all of those sort of and genres and packs them into one intense TV show, which is on Netflix. And it's awesome. And so it's about this group of friends, these 4 boys who, and I should say the first season takes place in 1983 before I was, it's a fun fact. But they're basically, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons in the first episode, and they, have to go home for dinner or whatever. And basically one of them does not make it home. And the story is about what happens to this little boy and
we're going to have to do a show about what happened to Liz.
Liz got taken into the upside down.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no!
Liz was just behind me on a bike, and now she's not anywhere.
Oh.
Wait, the lights are blinking, and they're telling. Wait, they're sending me a message. They're sending a message. Liz is in her apartment, staring at us.
Yeah.
She can't hear. I'm here. I'm here.
We need Winona Ryder here to decipher those signs.
I want to, when Liz comes back after she finishes her review, I wanted to ask her if she was able to add Idris Elba to her list of 3 with her boyfriend. Because I was fortunate enough, and I have a great picture of it. I was fortunate enough to meet Charlize Theron, and I texted my wife and said, I just moved her into my top 3. And she's like, you cannot do that. Proximity does not create openings in your list of 3. Well, and here she's back.
She seems to be back.
Tell you, Stranger Things over here.
Yeah.
I think
Stranger Things. Yeah.
I think you have to
scratch her Wi-Fi.
It took her again. Listen, I'll just say this: Stranger Things is super popular in this house. We are fanatical about Stranger Things, and we've watched it together as a family. And I love all of the references to the 80s and to the music and to the fashion and all that crap. Blink twice if you're safe. Is she safe?
The problem is,
I think it's a joke, Ron. She's like,
is she safe? I don't know. She might be in the upside down.
Yeah, the problem is you wouldn't see the blinks until after anything bad had happened.
let me take this moment while we're waiting to. Casey fantastically pitched Liz, convinced on the show, Wi-Fi writers and shirtless Idris Elba. All right, Casey, we know what drag gets Casey Ryan Plot going. It's shirtless Idris Elba. So there we go. Oh, and Liz is back. Liz, you there?
She is.
She's striking.
There she is.
Oh, prettier than ever.
I like what you've done with the hair.
Yeah,
she did change. Oh,
Jeff, we need to take some of this advertising money and send her a router.
I know. Well, let me just say that a friend, Jerry, who just popped up a second ago, was kind enough, because he loves the show. He did a hashtag game this morning, Cobra Kai and the Upside Down, to help promote our show and get a buzz on the Twitters. So thank you, Jerry. This was a nice little mashup on the hashtag Roundup. So go to #hashtag Roundup, download the hashtag Roundup app, follow Jerry, and have some good times all day, every day. Thank you, Jerry.
Nice. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right.
She's
Liz.
back. She's back. Liz Priestley.
Better than ever. Wait, you're on mute.
You look great, but we can't hear you.
Do you remember that in Johnny Dangerously? We can see you, but I can't hear you.
Johnny Dangerously to me, like, the best line is like, once. My mother touched me once.
That's right.
I use the line.
She's gone again.
Anytime anybody mentions anyone's mother,
Anytime anybody
This is
mentions
in the
something about
upside
their
down again.
thyroid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
their thyroid, yeah, we can't find it. We have to do a thyroid scan.
Well, it was good having
again.
it was good having Liz while we had her.
Jeff, you're gonna have to fix these technical difficulties to get me back on the show, buddy. All right, because
I
You're
know.
not used to that. Your agent's going to be calling.
I earn way too much money for this crap.
But
all right.
Speaking of Sal getting too much money, if you guys check out if you're having fun, check out the Jeff Dwoskin Show podcast, available where all podcasts are, as well as the Sal and Bob Show, two hilarious podcasts that you can check out. If you haven't gotten enough of us right now, you can there's like hundreds of hours of us that you can devour.
God damn, we're
You can
handsome,
devour.
Sally.
Yeah, good looking people. All right, so we got an interesting one coming up. Bob's going to come up next. He's going to talk to us about The Platform.
Oh, okay. Yeah, The
Ooh.
Platform. I saw this movie. This was on Netflix, and I saw this during the big lockdown back in the spring, and I loved it. And I don't know what it is. I love prison movies, and you can write your own jokes for that.
Well,
But this is a prison movie. It's so unrelentingly bleak. It makes Shawshank Redemption feel like House Party. It's so you're like, when is this darkness gonna leave my living room? But I can't look away. Here's the premise of it. Okay, it's somewhere in the near future, 10, 20 years. It doesn't really matter because it's not like there's this crazy technology. It's a vertical prison, okay, and the number of floors are unknown to any of the prisoners in this place. For all they know, it could be 1 floor, it could be 500 floors. And in this movie, it follows two particular prisoners, and it's a Spanish movie, so it's dubbed. But the good thing about it is, it's I believe, I'm not completely sure, but I believe the actors also spoke English, and so they dubbed it in their English voices. Okay, not in Spanish, so it didn't have that weird, the thing when they dub it poorly and their voices just don't match their faces, that kind of thing. So it was really smooth, but it starts out, and I'm not going to tell you the whole plot, but let's just say that two people wake up on a floor in this vertical prison, and the rules of this prison are quickly established. There's a lot of exposition right up front, where every 30 days they wake up on a different floor. Okay, and they have no idea which one they're going to wake up on. They don't have any idea who they're going to be with. But there is a certainty in this, that there is a platform that rises and falls throughout all of the floors of this prison. There is a hole that goes down to the very bottom of this thing, and you don't, like I said, you don't know how many floors there are. The oddest thing about this movie was that there is a fantastic kitchen that supplies the prisoners with this unbelievable feast, this banquet every day, and puts it on this platform right above the top floor, and then lowers it down through this vertical prison. Each floor has a set number of minutes to where they can grab some of this food, and they're not allowed to take anything but what they can eat at that moment. They can't shove anything in their pockets, or the cells are either superheated or super cooled to where they die for this infraction. So I know this sounds like a great Christmas movie, but hear me out. So yeah, my weird holiday tradition is we watch The Platform on Christmas Eve. Now, so this, it goes on like this, and you learn the rules of this weird existence, and these particular two prisoners get to know each other, and at the end of 30 days, and I think they're on floor 22. Now, so they have gotten some food. Now, you imagine that as this platform, goes down through the floors, people are grabbing food, and there's wine, and there's this unbelievable spread of beautiful pastries and, crazy food like that you could get at the absolute best restaurants in the real world. Well, people are they're crazy. They're walking on this platform. They're kicking off food. They're defecating in it. They're spitting in it. It's just like it was like the election. It's craziness. So to wrap, I'm going to put a bow on this by saying that there's a lot that I'm not telling you, and there's a lot you find out right at the very end. But the whole point of this movie is to. By the way, some other prisoners get together and they say, "Hey, let's show the guards here and the people running this place. We're not all animals. We're not going to kill each other over this food. We're going to ride this platform down to whatever floor it takes us to, however many we can survive." And they're fighting and killing other prisoners as they go down and they're trying to save this particular. I don't know if it's like a flan or I can't remember that. No, panna cotta. Is that a thing? Panna cotta. And so their idea is to get to the bottom of this floor and then send it back up to the people. And so whoever's running this prison goes, "Oh, well, they're not all savages. This thing survived. This lovely little souffle or whatever it was." So a lot I'm not telling you, a lot of crazy stuff, but well worth watching.
And this is on Bob. This is on Netflix, correct?
It's on Netflix. Yes, it is.
Was there windows that people could just get out, or would that ruin the whole movie?
No, there's no way to get out. There are no windows. There is just this hole in every floor where this platform goes down. And the platform itself, it's not on a cylinder, it's not on chains, it just sort of hovers, it floats. So whatever this technology is allows it to go up and down through this prison. People try to climb on it and they're crushed. Whatever infraction they commit, they're dead very soon after.
Is vending machine access available, Bob?
No vending machine, but panna cotta and the best wines. It's very strange.
At Sal's house on the holidays.
So I don't mean to break in, but breaking news: Casey Ryan Plott says it sounds a little bit like his early 20s. He's uncomfortably convinced, but you did convince him. But just by little, uncomfortable. I mean, look, you had me at they wake up on floors.
Yeah,
it's
watch it.
Yes. Oh, and then Jerry is a little concerned about Liz, who can't come back, unfortunately. But you think Idris would kick in a little extra for more bandwidth? Probably.
Fair point.
You think he would?
Maybe he turned into Heimdall and swept her away somewhere to a different galaxy.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we're gonna wrap it up with Howard. He's got one of my favorite shows, Never Have I Ever.
Yeah. So if I may steal a line from Mike Myers in Wayne's World 2, I'm a sucker for a rite de passage show or movie. Since my John Hughes days. Yeah. And that's what Never Have I Ever really is. It's created by Mindy Kaling, and it is based, a lot of it's based on her experiences growing up. It is, the main character is Indian American, who has recently lost her father. And it's a combination of her issues dealing with that, as well as just her relationship with her mother. And then her relationship as a teenager who's quote unquote uncool and trying to be cool. And, not giving anything away because the series really revolves around it, but creates a lie, for lack of a better term, or allows it to be assumed that she had sex with the cool kid in class, and then the whole series goes from there. It's really funny. It's a teen show, but there's some really adult humor. The characters are really, really well cast. The main character is amazing. Her dad, who occasionally appears in flashbacks, is Jeff. You mentioned Heroes last week. He's Dopinder from Heroes, and it's just a great show. To me, though, the jokes are great. I think there's some surprising things. I think the show, not to get politically correct, but I think it does a really good job with some tearing down some ethnic stereotypes, but still playing on the humor of some things. I think it's a great show for casting some minority actors that don't get a lot of traditional roles. But to me, what ties the show together and makes it funny is the narrator for all but one of the episodes is John McEnroe.
Oh my
And,
gosh!
And
Get out of town.
Yeah, well, the gist of it is John McEnroe was her dad's hero for a bunch of reasons that the show kind of goes into, and he's great as the narrator. He really ties the episodes together, and yeah, I mean, it was one of those ones where I'm a big Mindy Kaling fan. I absolutely love her on The Office. I like her show as well. Yeah. And think she's, when I found out she was one of the writers of The Office early into my love in The Office, it made me love her even more. And there's some of that sensibility in this show. Different kind of show, certainly, but I think some of the same type of humor's in there. And it's great. It was such an easy watch. I found it by accident. Put it on, a couple episodes in, I was hooked. And I think, that was like a one-nighter knocking out the whole first season. It's 25-minute comedies. And I think it was great. And I think it's and again, a show that, Ron, you mentioned Stranger Things being a family show. I don't have children, but I could see that as being a family show that's great, kind of across the board. It's edgy enough for us to love. The John McEnroe connection is great, but then it's also got a really good teen sensibility as well. So, yeah.
Casey Plot is not convinced. Well, okay, I'm going to come in here for a second. Casey,
not convinced?
Up to this point, I thought you kind of knew what was going on. And there's so Never Have I Ever was one of those shows that I saw, they were promoting it, had no interest. It was another high school teen show, right? So I happened to be with friends of mine, Jessica and Danny Klein, and they mentioned the show. They said, no, it's amazing. So we sit down, we watch it. It's in the same vein as how I thought of Ted Lasso, in the sense that it takes you through all the feels. Okay. Like it's hilarious. It's deep as all get out. And it's very emotional, and you really get a connection to these. And it's not an uncomfortable show to watch. Meaning, what I mean by that is it's not so. Sometimes when you watch these shows of these in like high school, and you start to feel like the anxiety that you felt in high school, and so it becomes uncomfortable to watch. It's not like that. And Mindy Kaling is brilliant. And by the way, I tweeted at her, and she liked the tweet. So there's that. So we're best friends.
Yeah, very nice.
We're practically best friends.
Can we get her on the show?
Yes, I'll tweet and
maybe her Wi-Fi works.
But Never Have I Ever, Casey Ryan Plot, is probably in the top 10 shows of the last year that I've seen, and it will remain in one of my favorite series of all time. It's so clever. Uncomfortable is the fear of these kind of shows. I'm telling you, it's so amazing. I don't even think it's set in high school, and I just think it's really, really, really worth it. Totally.
I'm so glad to hear that John McEnroe is in the show. I have thought for years that John McEnroe had a future in some type of sitcom or even a movie, and so I haven't. I'm definitely going to look into this because of that.
He's great. He's really great. You know what else is great? Sweet Tarts from the Ferrara candy.
I turned Casey.
He's Dwas convinced. All right.
Dwas convinced, which is now a coined term that we'll have to. We'll have to come up with. It's like Ginsburned. All right.
Well, shows and giving a summary of the Casey Ryan plot of the show.
Well, guys, I think we've come to the end of another amazing show. These were some great shows that I think everyone should check out. You can watch the replay, share it, tell everyone about it. Tell everyone about the Jeff Dwoskin Show, Crossing the Streams with Sal, Bob, Ron, Howard. We're on the Scene Snobs channel. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter and Periscope. We're on Twitch. I have a Twitch. Don't ask me what it is, but we're there. And it's all exciting. So I thank you guys. Everyone
Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job,
Good
guys.
times, fellas.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of
See you next
Crossing the
week.
Streams, brought to you by scenesnobs.com and part of the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Your hosts, of course, Jeff Dwoskin, Sal D'Amelio, Bob Phillips, Ron Lippett, and Howard Rosner. Follow us all on the socials, and we'll see you next week and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. We're going live and crossing more streams.